Okay, everyone. My name's Roger Adkins. I am the Executive Director at the Center for Global and Career Education. So we are one of the 5 EPIC centers, and you're really your one-stop place for both global learning and off-campus study programming, as well as career education, career coaching, and applications for funded internships and other funded experiences. So I'm going to kick off the show here tonight. So we are EPIC, which is the Earlham Program for an Integrated Curriculum. And what that means is that in the 4-year journey that makes up the liberal arts experience at Earlham, you have, of course, your excellent classroom experiences, which you've heard about, I think, in some of the other events if you've attended other Wednesday evenings. With the transformative learning experiences, and that's where we come in. We help you think about how to get hands-on experience both on and off campus in areas related to career discernment, things that you might like to do after you leave Earlham, and really to be prepared exceptionally well for that life beyond Earlham. The first thing to think about as you join us is to join one or more of the career communities. We have 6 career communities, and these are each community looks at a cluster of professional areas that are related to each other. And what's great about the career community is by joining, you join a group of students who are interested in this area, as well as career coaches who coach students who are thinking about careers in this area. Other mentors on campus, including the center directors that you're going to meet here tonight, and alumni as well, connections to alumni who work in these areas, and then various other kinds of industry related connections. And you can join one or more career communities, whatever works for what you have in mind. And then you engage with the centers. And there are 5 centers, as you see in the graphic here. The CGCE, the one that I mentioned before, Global and Career Ed on the left. We're off to the side because unlike the other 4, we're not focused on a topical area. We are a center that really serves all students who are thinking about an off-campus learning experience and for career education and coaching. But we're going to dive into each of the other 4 centers first and then come back to me and the CGCE. So I'm going to turn it over to the first director, and each director will introduce themselves and give you an overview of their center, and then introduce a student, a current student, who can tell you a bit about their experiences as well.
Good evening, all. I'm Gene Hambrick, and I hope Mark Jandro has joined us as well. But we're here to tell you a little bit about the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation and how it can help you actually move through that 4-year journey through the lens of innovation and entrepreneurship. So how do we do that? Well, one of the ways we do that is we help you move your passion, ideas, and ideals from theory to practice by using innovation and social entrepreneurship. And for those of you who really have a passion about doing good, the center helps you do that by looking at people, planet, and profit. And so I'll get to those pictures in a second or two. But the way we do that is we're a fully integrated center that looks at not just things like workshops, but courses. So for example, I actually teach a course called the Innovation Lab. And that's not a mispronunciation. It's innovation, but with an E because it's Earlham. And we actually help people take their ideas and actually build a business plan. The other cool thing is workshops. A lot of students don't really know what they want to do at Earlham. They come in undecided. They don't know their actual major. But with workshops, we actually help them come about and figure out, hey, how can I make a difference in the world, which is one of the key things at Earlham. Student faculty collaboration, you hear from all the centers. We're very close to our students, so we do a lot of collaboration, and then co-curricular activities. So over this journey, we'll help you actually empower you to take the most away you can by doing both curricular and co-curricular activities. I'm going to highlight a couple of things, the Earlham Epic Grand Challenge and Net Impact chapter by looking at the pictures to your left. So as you look at the top picture to your left, hopefully you recognize President Bill Clinton. Unfortunately, I can't see you, but I hope you're all going yes. So we actually, Earlham actually won $1 million. And these students that you see with Bill Clinton won $1 million to start up their own venture. The other cool thing about this picture is that they're not all business majors. One student is actually is Peter's nodding because she's pre-health. And I think she is ultimately going to be a doctor. The other one was to her right is a peace and global studies major, and the other two are econ and business majors. So we bring interdisciplinary teams together to solve the wicked problems of the world. Mark Jandro is probably going to join us. He's in the middle. So I'll drop down to that last picture. Last year, we had 3 teams invited to the Holt Prize regional competition. That was a record for us. And we're a small liberal arts school. The Holt Prize is a competition that brings in over 25,000 teams from all over the world. The team that won it in 2016, which is with Bill Clinton, actually beat the Ivy Leagues, serial entrepreneurs, and also MBA types. The one reason I want to show you this bottom picture, see the young lady in red? She was a first year student, had not declared a major, but she had a passion for doing something in the urban area. So she joined a team and they actually went on to do some competitions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over. Mark, are you out there?
I am, Gene.
All right. So I'm going to introduce you to Mark Jandro, who's going to, if you go to the next slide, Mark has actually participated in a number of these things we talked about. So over to Mark.
Yeah, so hi, everyone. My name is Mark Chandro. I'm a senior here at Earlham College. And I would first like to just start with the outcomes that I've gotten from working with this center specifically. I'm currently the founder and CEO of 2 different companies. One of those being Mark the Shark Landscaping LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And the other one is Gateway Restoration, which we are actually the winners of the Epic Grand Challenge, which I will get into later. So those are kind of my outcomes. I want to now jump into kind of my journey and how I got to where I am now. That kind of started freshman year. I was able to, thanks to Epic, immerse myself into a different culture to appreciate different perspectives throughout the world. Thanks to my faculty-led research in Spain and Morocco. This is kind of where it all started for me, being put into the different centers. The Epic Grand Challenge, which I want to highlight, this is kind of going into my sophomore and junior year. As you can see, my junior year was pretty hectic. But the Epic Grand Challenge, I was able to work with students, as Gene said, with different backgrounds, different ideas flowing. And we were able to go through these workshops and really develop our innovation and put our plan to action. Mark the Shark Landscaping, I've been able to use what I've gained in the classroom as well as with the center and build a company in Cincinnati, Ohio that is very successful. And then the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation has helped me think outside of the box creatively to come up with complex business solutions. So as you can see, the ASCM case competition and Connexus kind of tie in with that, but specifically the Holt Prize, which is what Gene talked about early on. Holt Prize, we placed top 7 in the Santo Domingo round in our region specifically. And this was all thanks to what the Center of Entrepreneurship kind of gave to us. So then going on to the next slide, I just want to highlight some pictures. So here's some pictures that I have of my epic journey so far. The one I really want to hone in on is Mark the Shark Landscaping LLC. Without Gene, I don't know if I would have taken that leap to go get my LLC. So I'm very appreciative of everything that him and the center has done for me.
And the other thing you forgot to mention is we helped you create that Mark the Shark logo, which Roger likes a lot.
Right.
That's it for us, and we'll turn it over to the Center for Environmental Leadership.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Pavey. I'm the director of the Center for Environmental Leadership, and I also teach in our environmental sustainability major. So the CEL's focus is really on helping you understand the role that you play in larger social and environmental systems, and then also helping you think about how you can influence those systems for positive change. So we offer lots of different types of programs to help you connect with your local environment. So we have an outdoor education program that hosts a variety of opportunities to go hiking and biking, and we've gotten pretty creative this semester since we haven't been able to take trips in vans. So we've really been rediscovering a lot of cool things that are right in our backyard to still be able to take advantage of from an outdoor perspective. We also have a sustainable agriculture program. So Miller Farm, which Berto, who's going to speak to you in just a second, has been really involved with that. And that's another way I think that you can really start to understand and connect with Richmond as a place by working at the farm. And then we also do a lot of work. There's a group that's one of the bullets on here called the Student Sustainability Corps. So that is a group of students that are paid student workers that work to address a lot of environmental sustainability challenges on campus. So they work on running our composting program, addressing a variety of different waste concerns. We have a free store that group runs, which is basically kind of like a Goodwill or a thrift store, but everything's free. We run a move out program, which Berto was also involved in, where we try to collect all the stuff that kind of comes when people move to make sure we divert that from a landfill and either keep it for use in our free store or donate it to local community organizations. So through those kind of three areas, outdoor ed, Miller Farm, and sustainability core, you have lots of opportunities to take on leadership roles. We offer a lot of student-led classes in all of those areas. We have student-led classes. Our student employees are always tackling new projects and developing new programs and planning events. We do a lot of things as teams that also have leaders that are students that help to coordinate the work within those teams. And I think the final thing I want to be sure to highlight is what's listed on here is the August Wilderness pre-orientation program. So this is an opportunity even before you start college to dive in head first and spend about 10 days in the backcountry with other first year incoming students. It may actually kind of have to start to be called summer wilderness for the next couple years, at least while we're on our new calendar, because most of that's not going to be in August because classes start so early in August. But we take students to Utah, to a wilderness area there, and in smaller groups with 2 student leaders and a faculty leader, again, spend about 10 days in the backcountry developing a lot of outdoor skills and also leadership skills and learning about Earlham as a community and some of our values and kind of practices that we have here. That's kind of all of those things within that pre-orientation program. Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to Berto and he can tell you a little bit more about his journey.
Yeah, so my name's Berto Edwards. I'm a junior neuroscience major with a medical humanities minor. I have been involved in a lot of the different centers. I worked with the Center for Social Justice. We were doing a spring lobbying weekend for immigration reform in DC, where we got lobbying workshops. That was really cool. I was involved in the Global and Career Education Center, studying abroad in India with Peter Blair, who will talk shortly. And I've also been really involved in all 3 main pillars of the Center for Environmental Leadership. So I started out working in the SSC, Student Sustainability Corps. As Jamie said, I got to take charge of the Move Out program, which was really cool to kind of learn those skills about how to get all those moving parts fit together, and also work with other students who are passionate about making Earlham a more sustainable place. I've also been pretty involved in the outdoor education. I was a student on August Wilderness that Jamie talked about, and I was on track to be a leader for another spring break trip called Outdoor Trip Leadership before coronavirus happened. So I did all of the prep work for that. I was really bummed when that didn't happen, but I pretty quickly, I ended up staying in Richmond since then, working on Miller Farm, which was a really valuable experience. Miller Farm is a really welcoming community. you're able to learn so much about how to farm, how to work with other people, how to take initiative on projects. And it's really like you get out of it what you put in. And so where that has taken me now, I am leading work groups of freshman volunteers twice a week, 8 to 11 in the morning. They're Bonner scholars who are working for their scholarships, doing volunteer hours. And it's been really valuable and awesome to get to know them and be able to put those leadership skills into practice that I learned throughout outdoor education, and also getting to work with getting to connect Miller Farm with other groups on campus, such as like the SSC. All the compost from the meal hall comes to the farm, and we get to turn that into new food, which is, I don't know, I think that's really poetic and beautiful. And we've been talking recently with a group of students who are interested in creating an Earlham business centered around Miller Farm. So that is just another example of how the environmental leadership and sustainability and business can all intertwine and coexist. And yeah, so post-graduation, I'm a junior, not entirely sure where I'm going yet, but I'm looking into doing sustainable ocean farming on the Pacific coast, or potentially wilderness therapy, kind of focusing on like medical humanities and outdoors and finding the connection between those two. So yeah, thank you so much.
And it's my turn. And you saw a little bit of the slides that Berto actually participated in. And one of the pictures that was on that slide, maybe Roger, if you can go back just quickly, I just want to emphasize that one in the top middle. That's our group that went to northern India and were able to visit with the Dalai Lama. So that picture has the Dalai Lama in the middle, and he's wearing an Earlham College cap. And that was part of a climax moment for our program where Berto and I were about a year ago. And as part of that, Berto was able to actually intern at a Tibetan medicine hospital. And so I would argue, Berto, that you've actually interacted with 4 centers that you can have. So even the Center for Global Health. So I'll even add that to be a 4 epic center overlap. Well, greetings, everyone. It's great to have you. My name is Peter Blair. I was excited to see the person from South Bend. I got my PhD at Notre Dame. I did my postdoc in the lab in Silver Spring at the Walter Reed Medical Research Center. So we have a student there as well. So welcome to all these people who overlap geographically with my training. I am a biology professor at Earlham. I also contribute to the biochemistry and new exercise science programs. And I think based on some of your interests, if you have questions at all about those academic pursuits, I'd be glad to address those as well. You're hearing a lot of information from us today, but we hope you ask us some questions when it's your turn. So keep thinking of a question you might ask any of the center directors, or more informatively, the students that are here with us. And so I also am the director of the Center for Global Health. And when I kind of created the mission, and my colleague created the mission for the Center for Global Health, we never thought we'd be dealing with a pandemic, but we hope that we are training our students to engage in those challenges that face the world, including that type. We are also the center that focuses on our pre-health and health professional advising. So if you have interest in medicine, osteopathic or allopathic, dentistry, pharmacy, optometry, nursing, physical therapy, physician's assistant, nutrition, occupational therapy, you can help discern what kind of career is best for you by participating in the center and also taking heed in some of the advice that we can give. Because there's great nuances to those health professional programs and those trajectories to get into those after Earlham programs, and we're here to help you with that. So if you see what we can offer, one is that kind of pre-health advising. And my highlight in this section is to talk about my colleague, Mike Dybel. Mike is a current dean of the college and a professor of chemistry, but he is currently the president of our National Association of Advisors for the Health Professions, the national president. And so little old Earlham College, small but mighty, has the head man of this national advising group. So Where does Stanford, Harvard, Chicago, the Oberlins of the world send their health advisors? To this conference where Earlham has the president. So a little bit about kind of the respect that our advising team has earned over the years. We also have rich, of course, academic programs as well that our students go through. I think Berto has taken our anatomy and physiology course series or might, and it's cadaver based. So in small groups, you're able to work around a cadaver, get hands-on, students do the dissections. And this is a distinctive feature of kind of our in-lab experiential component. And this would be good to ask, as you should be learning about other schools, do they have this kind of distinctive characteristic, being able to work with anatomy hands-on in such a way. Some of our keystone programs within our center are our health externship program. And this is kind of our volunteering and job shadowing program where we send students out into the local community and get real world experience by following doctors or dentists or physical therapists around. And we even taxi you out there and pay for that taxi so that you can get that experience, and we bring you back because we know you have classes and labs to get to as well. And so we've accrued over 9,000 hours in the past 4 years of providing service to our community through this volunteering and job shadowing program that we call the Health Externship. And that's free for you, and it's something that will help you again with your discernment if you're thinking about, for example, occupational therapy or perhaps nursing. It helps you get that exposure to those fields. One of our newest programs is our community medicine program. And this is a wonderful partnership between our community members, Reed Hospital, which is our major regional hospital, and Earlham. It turns out that some of our community members were high frequent users of the emergency room of Reed Hospital. And they were going to the emergency room for non-emergency events. So a lot of them were chronically ill. So Reed Hospital contacted us and created a paramedic program or a community medicine program where our students are actually trained as life coaches, and we're able to go with a paramedic team and enter the homes of these community members that have been going to the ER too frequently and serve as these coaches and engage with the citizens of our community and do things like, have you taken your medicine? Have you had a good week? Let's play a game of cards together. So a nice energetic student like the ones you've seen before, like Mark and Berto, would perhaps participate in this and really engage with the local citizens. And it has proven to keep these folks out of the ER and keep them healthier. And so it's a win-win-win for all the parties involved. Next, Berto mentioned he's part of our medical humanities integrated pathway, and we have also one in exercise science. These are kind of like applied minors where you take a core set of classes and you also have an experiential component. And it's a great credential for your resume, but it also extends from the health side for medical humanities. For instance, it shows you that you've had an ethical training, that you understand the integrity associated with being a health professional. And we think that's really important, again, as we prepare you for the health issues of the 21st century. We have 3 clubs we can belong to. HOSA, which is a competition-based club, and we've actually won the nationals on that, and we won the state every year since we've had a HOSA chapter. Kendra, who will be talking next, can speak to you more about the MAPS program that we have. And we also have an active health club, which is a picture shown in the lower left, where we might be working on a health fair or blood drive, again, serving our community. Lastly, we've talked about some regional opportunities within our center, but we have some national and international programs as well. For instance, the off-campus semester in Northern India has now a Tibetan medicine component. We also have a May EPIC term, which would be free for you if you decide to use your EPIC funding for it. We have gone to Spanish-speaking countries like Peru twice, Costa Rica, and we have a planned trip to Dominican Republic, where you go and actually do observing of surgeries. You can see dental practice in a developing world situation. You can practice your Spanish, which would be a great skill building set. And also we do public health education. So we were able to, in Peru, when I went in 2017, go to a women's orphanages, and we did skits on hygiene, germ theory, lice care, very practical things that we think we were actually providing and helping with the local citizens. And you can see that in the top left picture that we actually were able to, on that year, really get involved and be culturally immersed a few days before they climbed Machu Picchu at the end of that trip. Lastly, the intercultural competence midterm is in a region where students get trained in Latinx culture, again, a crash course in Spanish. You learn about differences of faith as it applies to health practice. In the final week, you go to Alivio, which is a Indianapolis-based hospital that is bilingual. And so you get to do rotations and shadowing, and again, immerse yourself in cultures that are unlike you. And so we all know that our future health professions will be dealing with people that are of a variety of backgrounds, and we think you should get practice in dealing with everyone that might come across your path. So I'm going to let Kendra talk about her epic journey that includes the Center for Global Health and much efforts, as you can see by this slide. So Kendra, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kendra Parker. I am a senior neuroscience major, and I do have a medical humanities IP. So since I've been here at Earlham, I have been involved in a lot. I have been able to develop a lot of connections with a lot of people, including almost every faculty member in the collab or the centers. It all began with LIFT, which is Library Immersion Fellows team. And basically that team takes in first generation students and helps prepare you for your journey ahead in college. And a huge part of that experience was showing us that we are capable of doing what we want to do in school and understanding that we have help and assistance along the way. At the end of that, they let us apply to go to a trip to Hawaii, where we learned about the culture and had a lot of experiences. And it was just a wonderful culminating, I guess, experience for me. Um, Moving on to that, in the fall of 2018, I was able to go to the Abercams conference, which is so long. It's such a long title, but basically the conference is meant for minority students involved in STEM, so biology, molecular biology, neuroscience, etc. And it was just a great networking event to meet. I've met a lot of friends there. I know people who are currently in grad school getting their PhD that I have met there. I have met people who work for the NIH. I have met a lot of people through this conference, and I have gone there 2 years in a row. Sadly, probably won't be going there this year due to COVID, but in the future. Continuing that summer of 2018, I did work for Earlham in the CCE alongside Jesse, one of your pre-health advisors. And I learned, how much opportunity is there for students in STEM. And all you have to do is apply, really. That's all you need to do. Leading into that, I was able to then work on bringing MAPS here to Earlham. And MAPS is an initiative under SNMA, which is focused on increasing the number of minority physicians we have in medicine. Medicine is something that I'm very passionate about. And in order for it to be more inclusive, we need to have a demographic which represents the populations that we take care of. It allows us to not have racial biases and end up with things such as the mortality rate that Black women are currently facing in regards to maternity. And MAPS is very involved in the sense of that we try to get involved with the community. We try to put on different events and things like that. We try to ensure that we are uplifting students of color who want to move into medicine. And I do that alongside my co-president, Tyreek, who you see me in the picture with. Outside of that, I have been able to participate in two summer research programs, one at UNMC, or University of Nebraska Medical Center, and I worked underneath Dr. Hoffman, who is a kidney transplant surgeon. And then this summer, or the summer of 2020, I worked at UCLA under Dr. Shafali Jest, looking at how kids who develop autism spectrum disorder autism spectrum disorder through parent surveys and responses. And I was able to go to London in my spring semester. And that was a very great experience that sadly got cut short. But as you can see, I've had very diverse experiences since being here at Earlham. And each of these experiences has taught me that I need to set the bar higher for myself and that I am capable of creating impact and change in the world that I'm going into. And I just hope that in the future I am able to do that. I would like to pursue an MD PhD and do research in anxiety and depressive disorders amongst minority communities. And all of the centers have helped me done that. Me and Jean have talked about pursuing these things. I've talked with Ahmed about these things, and it's just a very wonderful community to develop and grow in.
What up, team? I mean, how am I gonna follow Kendra? You feel me? Like, I just got set up. Like, how am I even gonna do this? How is this even gonna happen? Also, could we just back up? Did y'all see Jean take a sip of something that like was either a giant bottle of Coke or wine? Like, okay, I was a little bit worried. I was like,
All right, so first of all, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and
we're gonna
raised.
talk about Atlanta now.
We're gonna talk about Atlanta, but go ahead, Ahmed, you're on.
Are we sure it ain't wine in that Coke bottle though, Gene? Anyway, how y'all doing? I'm glad y'all are here. I'm glad to be here, and I'm trying to create a buffer between myself and Kendra, just because. Come on now. Also, like, much love and big up to Idai, who's going to be talking next. She came in last minute, and so y'all watch out. She's real people. So here's the thing: the CSJ. There are a lot of things we do, and there are more things we're going to be adding in the next few years, I hope. Rather than kind of share with you, I mean, you can see who's on the screen. Here are a couple of things I want to tell you about Earlham College and social justice. First of all, in 1847, a bunch of white people who were Quaker from North Carolina were like, yeah, this is crooked, we're getting out. We want to get away from the slavery routine. So they popped out over here to Indiana and set up Earlham College, which is a pretty big legacy to try to follow up on. And in some ways we fall short because it's impossible to follow up on that kind of a legacy. And in other ways we try, which is hopefully the best we can do. The other thing I want to share with y'all, World War II, we did a lot of terrible things. We being the American government, you know, it ain't my government, but you know, still your government, whatever. The American government was crooked. It started putting Japanese Americans into internment camps, which I'm sure you all know. And Earlham stepped in and said, yeah, you know, we're going to continue to admit Japanese persons, people of Japanese heritage, to Earlham College to ensure that they are not incarcerated, that they're not put in internment camps. So Earlham has this legacy. If Ferguson, when things got crazy, we shut down. The college shut down. Our students shut the college down. So if you meet our students, you're like, that dude Mark, he seems real nice. Yeah, he nice. Kendra, she seems real nice. Yeah, she nice. But I'm telling you what, they're going to shut it down when things get crooked, which we deeply appreciate as faculty. We want people who are ensure that we're being honest, which you know, it's a blessing and a curse. So all this to say, social justice is in the fabric of Earlham College. It is impossible to come here, and I think it's impossible to come here and never have to deal with your own prejudices, for better or for worse. And I want to say that too, like, it's a great thing, and it is, until like your ass is on the line, and then you're like, yeah, I really prefer to when other people's prejudices were on the line. And it's gonna happen. And when that happens, you're gonna figure out who you are. You're gonna figure out, are you the person who can actually like figure out how to be a less terrible person in the world? Or are you gonna be the person who's gonna default to who you were when you got here, which honestly, I know very few people who have done. There are lots of ways the Center for Social Justice is active on campus. I said, a couple of people alluded to, we have a relationship with the Friends Committee for National Legislation, FCNL, so you can head to DC. Idai is gonna talk a bit about the Davis and Earlham peace projects. We have a student corps which is emerging and is a 5-person gig, so you can work with the CSJ. And then there are a few other opportunities. But all that said, Earlham College of CSJ is hopefully is a place where you can figure out a little bit in the world. So with no further ado, I'll turn over to Idai.
Thank you, Ahmed. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay. So good evening. My name is Idai. I'm a senior economics major. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, so I'm an international student. I was really drawn to Earlham's commitment to social justice before I got here. I think it was one of the main reasons that I applied. So when I got to Earlham and saw that there was a Center for Social Justice, I was quite impressed. I'd never heard of such a thing. And my first interaction with the center was when I was a freshman. I wanted to commemorate the Winnie Mandela, who passed away when I was a freshman in the spring semester. And so I just approached Alitha and Jonathan. She was one of the directors at the time, and told them, oh, I want to do this event. It could be a Black Students Union event. Please, could the Center for Social Justice sponsor this? And they they didn't even make it difficult for us. They sponsored the whole event. We were able to have this fantastic presentation. And for me, that's where it started. That was my first interaction and my first time sort of taking something that was not related to my academics necessarily and wanting to act upon it and being immediately supported and having the funding, everything, like nothing was out of my reach. And so beyond that, I also attended the FCNL weekend. I won't talk more about that since we've already discussed it. But I've also been able to interact with the Center for Entrepreneurship. So I haven't been limited to my interest in social justice. So I'm an economics major. The beauty of economics is that I can be interested in business, in entrepreneurship, in development. I can dip my toes in many things. And so I did that. And Jean already talked about how Earlham really emphasizes problem solving and making sure that you have the resources to identify a problem and address it, whether it's through conferences or through grants. And so my freshman year, I noticed that a lot of Earlham students had gone to this conference called the Clinton Global Initiative Conference. I thought it was really cool. They basically required us to come up with a commitment for action, which is like a mini grant that you write, but you don't get funding for it. You just get accepted to this conference. And so I remember writing this application. I saw it, and one of my friends, she graduated, her name was Olivia. She asked me to apply, and I said, I don't think I would ever get into this thing. And I saw it again, and I just decided to write the grant. And another student who was a senior at the time looked over it, gave me a lot of feedback. So you already see how collaborative this school is. You're never on your own. You always have someone to help you, someone to look at your application. And I was accepted to this conference and I was so, so excited. And Jean said, I will fund you. You won't have to pay anything at all. And so I got to go to the University of Chicago where the conference was being held. That was an amazing experience. I met, so the picture in this slide, the bottom picture is, these are all Zimbabweans that I met at the conference. That was absolutely mind-blowing for me, meeting all of these people from all these different colleges who are doing so many interesting things. I still talk to these people. I haven't just, broken those ties. I think it was just a fantastic weekend, and seeing the Clintons talk, seeing them talk about what they've done with their foundation, that was really great. And this was essentially the foundation for my Earlham Peace Prize project, which I'll talk about in a little bit. In that same year, I was able to attend the Nobel Peace Prize Forum. This was essentially a conference, again, sponsored by the Center for Social Justice. My professor reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to go to this conference. And then I had to, again, apply. And I got to go to Minneapolis with Jonathan Diskin, who is one of the directors. This was a really great opportunity. This was essentially a conference honoring the Nobel laureates of 2018, I think. And it was the president of Colombia who had facilitated the peace talks in Colombia at the time, as well as one of the representatives from ICANN, which was working on like nuclear disarmament, if I'm not mistaken. So that was fantastic, being in the midst of all these really influential people talking about conflict resolution, things that Earlham really preaches on a daily basis. I was able to attend that. And like Kendra said, I think there are so many opportunities for funding that all you have to do is apply. I think people at Earlham, I think people know that these opportunities are out there, but the people who actually apply are the ones who get the opportunities. And so that same year, I applied for the Libby Younger Fellowship, which is a fellowship. It's not specifically from the Center for Social Justice, but I think the CGCE oversees this. So you apply to this fellowship and it's for natural sciences majors, so biology, chemistry, or people who are interested in international relations. So I'm kind of interested in that. And I got the chance to go to California and attain professional certification in program management and evaluation. So these are tools used by the World Bank, the UN, and other multilateral organizations. So that was another fantastic opportunity. It was held by the Middlebury Institute of International Studies. And finally, in my junior year, I built upon the proposal which I had used at the Clinton Global Initiative to apply for the Davis / Earlham Peace Prize competition. So that's essentially an opportunity for students to apply for a grant where you get $10,000 to carry out a project of your choice. So there are 2 awards, the first one being the Davis Peace Prize and the second one being the Earlham Peace Prize. And so I applied for this project. This is something I always wanted to do, but I just finally did it. And honestly, it was the entire process of writing it and going through the process. I had so much support from Jonathan, who's again part of the Center for Social Justice. All of the professors who were involved in making the decision, they were so open to helping me, as well as my friends and people who had won the award previously. And so the project I proposed will be addressing child marriage and providing income generating opportunities for people in informal settlements in Zimbabwe who are vulnerable to things like child marriage. And yeah, so I'm hoping to carry out that project next year. It was canceled because of COVID, obviously. And that was something I cherish, and I hope that I'll be able to do it. So my internships, these have been honestly opportunities through Earlham, because the first organization, which is GETF, this is an organization that has had ties with Earlham for a very long time. They've had so many Earlham students working for them. And because of that, I was able to get an internship there. And International Development Group is a company, a consulting firm I worked with through the Washington Center, which is an off-campus program. I got an extension into the summer, and I'm working with them again during winter break. So these are all, honestly, it's thanks to Earlham that I've had the opportunity to do everything that I wanted to do. And I hope to continue on this trajectory, and I'll hopefully be working in consulting after I leave. So that's it.
Okay, and that brings us back to the CGCE, Global and Career Education. Our mission really is to ensure that every student at Earlham is prepared by the time they leave for professional life in a global context through both global learning experiences and career discernment experiences, some of which, by the way, are both of those at once. For example, an international internship, as you've heard some examples. How we do it, if you are interested in a career discerning experience, you will have a guarantee of at least one funded experience during your time at Earlham through the EPIC Advantage program. And this can be an internship that's fully funded. So you can take up an internship somewhere that maybe is an unpaid internship, and it might be in a quite expensive city in the US or somewhere else around the world. And we can help with those costs to make that possible without having to sacrifice that summer, for example, to work in a paid position. If you're interested in getting involved with hands-on work in another summer, you can look at the Richmond Residency Program, where you can work with a local business, government agency, nonprofit, really across the full spectrum of different kinds of organizations, and have additional hands-on experience. So places like the mayor's office, local companies in tech, agriculture, all sorts of different organizations. If you are interested in off-campus study, we have a range of opportunities. One of the things we're most known for nationally at Earlham is our faculty-led semester-long programs. We are really in the lead in faculty-led. We have some fantastic programs. You heard about Tibetan studies already, and we have others that occur in Spain and New Zealand and other parts of the world as well. We also operate the Border Studies program based in Tucson, Arizona, and this is a program that serves students from Earlham, but also from other colleges, bringing folks together to look at the political and cultural and social and environmental issues of the borderlands region of US-Mexico. The program takes place mainly in Tucson, but has travel around the southwestern US and also into Mexico as well. And we also operate the designation of distinction in global engagement, which is a sort of certificate you can earn, and you can add that to any major at Earlham. So it's an extra credential to show that you have really taken the time to deeply engage with global issues and intercultural competency and develop those skill sets so that you can show grad schools, employers, et cetera, later on that you've done so. So I'm going to let you hear now from Rance Albert, who is a senior global management major, about his experiences.
Right. Hi, everyone. And it's just been a pleasure listening to everyone as well. Just listening to their Earlham experience and how they use these programs as well. So I'm Rance Albert. I'm a senior at Earlham College, and I'm a global management major with a track in finance. And I'm also a politics minor. And my experience over the past 3 years at Earlham has provided me with a multitude of educational experiences and also just a variety of different, just meeting unique individuals throughout this time period as well. Before coming here to Earlham, I never met anyone from international places, but during my time here at Earlham, I was able to meet individuals from like West Africa, Bosnia, and Earlham does just a great job of getting these individuals here. So because that's what the educational experience is altogether. I even had the opportunity to play football with some of these individuals as well. These individuals from like Bosnia, West Africa, and UAE, and other cool places. So yeah, my time at Earlham has been just a valuable experience. Just been learning so much. But one lesson I've learned from my time here at Earlham is that when one door closes, another door opens, and that's just been I believe this is just going to help me inside the workforce and throughout my career as a professional, as well as we all know, employers want someone that's available just to deal with the situation and figure out the problems. That's a big thing with the that's a big thing during my time here at Earlham. I've been mostly with the Center for Global Career and Education and the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and both of those has just helped me so much in just problem solving and then just figuring out my Earlham journey. So during my Earlham journey here, so during my first year here at Earlham, I was mainly in football. I was a football player, and I also interned in a small company in Maine during my freshman year. I didn't use my EPIC during that year, but during my second year, that's when I started to branch out, and that's when I really started to get my career and what I want to hone in on during my career. So yeah, I did an internship with a nonprofit in Dallas, and I used my EPIC Advantage funding. I was able I didn't have to work I didn't have to, with the discernment, the funding they give, I didn't have to worry about having to work a different job or having to just work part-time only. I was really able just to fulfill just being able just to work in a situation where individuals all day and just give it all my effort and time. So yeah, so what I did during my freshman and sophomore years, I just met with many of the career coaches, such as Ebony Stevens, and I just need to continue to build upon those experiences. As you can see in my junior senior year, these experiences have led me to do internships in Washington, D.C., other places as well. Now I'm currently with the Department of Veteran Affairs. So yeah, so a memorable experience for me was working in Washington, D.C., and this was, as Idai talked about earlier, it was through the Washington Center. I did mine during the fall of 2019. And so at Earlham, they have like two different programs for individuals that don't, two off-campus programs, not that are not study abroad programs. So I did they have a Washington program and a Philadelphia program, and so I did the Washington D.C. program, where I was able to work for a company, nonprofit called Search for Common Ground. It's a large nonprofit that works on solving, that focuses on peace building strategies and conflicts. So I was able to work on just different projects, and during that 5-month process, I was just able to learn so much about accounting, and during that process, I was able to learn work on long-term projects, long-term financing projects, and work with the controller and my supervisor on many short-term projects as well. And also, I'm currently looking at. This experience has not only led me to different opportunities, but it has also just helped me just find individuals throughout this time as well. So now I'm just interviewing with hedge funds now. And so, yeah, currently I'm with the Department of Veteran Affairs, and it has been eye-opening experiences because the federal government is so large, and just working for such a organization, department as that is just a unique experience just to do that. And so just to end it, so some of my plans after I finish Earlham this May is to get my master's in accounting and work in local and state budgeting departments. Working the CGCE has been a valuable experience, just helping me find my epic journey along the path. So yeah.
That brings us to the end of the presentation. So now we can try to answer some of your questions as well. And I'm going to stop the share here so we can all see each other. So it looks like we have one in the chat here. What is your, I think this is for the students who are here, the current students. What is your favorite memory about your epic experience?
I can go ahead and start. I think my favorite memory was definitely freshman year, going to Spain and Morocco on a fully funded trip, which was, one of the most memorable things in my life. And I don't know if I'd be able to have that opportunity if it wasn't for Earlham.
Anybody else? Berto, Idai, anybody?
For me, one of my favorite experiences is that at UNMC, I got to observe a kidney transplant surgery, or I should say 2 or 3 kidney transplant surgeries. And I actually got to see a daughter donate her kidney to her father. And so I saw the kidney come out of her and then go into her dad. And that was very interesting. Yeah, I saw a lot of interesting cases. I actually had to deal with an emergency surgery because there was some complications with one of the patients, but very rewarding experience. Oh, and I would also like to say there was another student at UNMC at the same time as me, and her lab was in a cancer center, and her PI was very cool, and he allowed me to come in euthanize a mouse.
I would say like one of my favorite memories is definitely just, I think, the totality of the Tibetan Studies program. One of the highlights was a group of us, for our free travel, we were able to go backpacking in the Himalayas up a like the snowy pass in a snowstorm. It was absolutely terrifying, a lot of fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed that program.
So we have another question here from Kiara that is asking if any of the current students came in as undecided in your majors, and if so, how did you decide what to major in? Were any of you undecided when you came in? No, apparently not. There are plenty of folks though who I can tell you from a CGCE perspective, most students actually come in as undecided. And I think it's a process of discernment through taking different courses in the general education program, interacting with various events like some of the things you've heard here. Sometimes students start with a center and engage with the center before they're sure if they're interested in majoring in that area. And that's one of the things that we can provide as well. So please don't feel intimidated by the 5 here who came in knowing what they wanted to do, because that's not.
So are you about to jump in?
Yeah, I can speak to that just a little bit. I did come in decided as a chemistry major, but I have since changed that to neuroscience. So I wasn't undecided when I showed up, but I did feel like it was pretty flexible. It didn't feel like changing my major was like a huge thing. And I know so many people, so many of my friends are like came in undecided or like totally switched their path halfway through. And I think Earlham does a really good job of making that really available and exposing you to many different ways of thinking so that you never really feel boxed in to any one thing.
And if I could jump in as well, the one cool thing about Earlham is we do get a lot of undecided, undeclared majors. And what they will do at Earlham is actually come to a faculty member, may or may not be your advisor, but will come to a faculty member and just come into my office and say, can I talk to you about, and then we do this discernment, as Roger says, and said, well, what's your passion? And then we start to kind of work that backwards to figure out, hey, this is maybe a pathway. And Roger, you might want to talk about Pathway U that you guys now have. I don't want to steal your thunder, but Pathway U is really cool too.
Yeah, we have a number of tools at CGCE that are interactive and web-based, and Pathway U is one that allows folks to do some self-guided discernment about what your passions are, what your strengths are, what areas you want to develop more, and to kind of think about where that might lead you in terms of career trajectories, fields of study. Yeah, lots of great tools. One of our newest ones actually is Big Interview, which gives you a way to practice interviewing skills and even do recordings of your interviews and get feedback from folks about how well you're interviewing. And these are professionals in fields that you're looking to go into. So it's a really great tool. So I see, oh, that's a thank you from Kara. You're welcome.
Rance, did you have something to add there?
Yeah, I'm just going to say about the flexibility in the Earlham curriculum. It's just allows all individuals just to like, even if you do switch a major, I mean, you might be able to get that course might be able to fulfill somewhere else in a general education requirement, or it might go towards a major or a minor you choose. So yeah, I just the flexibility in the curriculum is just something that's just so interesting about it. It makes the liberal arts education so important.
So I see, do we still have time for another question, Yulia? Yeah, there's one more new one here, which is, what is something you wish you knew before you started interacting with Epic?
I mean, nobody told me I was going to work with, oh wait, nobody told me I was going to work with Gene, but I think you were asking the students, right?
Yeah, sorry, friend.
And students, the prospective students, as you can tell, I have a very fragile ego. So this is Earlham. This is the community that you're going to be joining. We're very open and we enjoy the collaboration and the exchange. But I'll go back to Roger's question.
It's always all love too.
Yeah.
And if the current,
do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, to get us back on track, the question for the current students, what is something you wish you knew before you started engaging with Epic?
Yeah, I can answer this question. I think perhaps in my fourth semester, I wish I knew just like the breadth of experiences that exist within Epic. Like, Epic is not just the $5,000 which every student gets. There are so many opportunities, and I'm thankful that from spring semester onwards, I was speaking to a lot of upperclassmen who had done things that interested me, and that's how I got to know about all these opportunities. And so I think I wish I had known earlier, but I'm glad that I still got the opportunity to talk to upperclassmen and then, pave my way in that way, because they are the ones who told me, oh, you can apply for this, and the opportunities are pretty much endless.
Yeah, and if I could build on Adai's point, prospective students, don't be afraid to ask at Earlham. If you ask, you will be in a position to actually get something out of it, right, Rance? Rance is smiling. Just ask.
I think something that was very important, I don't think it's something I didn't know, but something that was very important that I got to learn is that your Epic program that you design is very specific to you, and there are several ways that you can use it. For example, a lot of pre-health students are interested in moving into research after Earlham, and many of them have used it to go and work in labs with PIs and say, hey, do you want somebody to volunteer in your lab? You don't need to worry about funding. I come with my own. And it allows you to be very selective in who you get mentorship in that way. For example, there are students who are specifically interested in the molecular biology of your adrenal glands. I don't know. And they can find somebody specific who can help show them, this is how you would do that. This is how you come at your question. These are the methods that you can use. And you can really make your Epic experience what you need it to be or what you want it to be. And I feel like that's very important to know going in.
Are there any last minute questions? Wanted to make sure that everybody's question was answered before we wrap up. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much to our wonderful EPIC directors, faculty members, current students. Thank you. We really appreciate your time tonight. This was so informative. So really great session. I learned something. Hopefully our prospective students did as well. So we will also have a virtual open house next week, next Wednesday, starting 6:30 Eastern. So there'll be a little bit more information on our EPIC as well as academic programs. But you also get connected with some of our other faculty members within our divisions as well. So hopefully you'll be able to join in next week. But thank you again for everyone's time. Thank you to the students that joined in, the prospective students, the current students, faculty, EPIC directors, and all of that. So we really appreciate it. We did record the session. We'll have that session available to anybody if you'd like to re-review or anything like that. So, but thanks again for everyone's time.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great evening. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys. Good luck with the process.